what's going on, everyone? This is Chris coming at you from the channel I Am Toys, and this is going to be a bust review. And before we get into it, make sure you hit the 4K option on the YouTube settings, and make sure you like and subscribe if you like the content, guys. So those of you, unless you've been living under a rock for decades, or you're really just a new horror fan and you're not familiar with this character, man, but this is Freddy Krueger. This is modeled after none other than Freddy's Revenge, and it's based on the makeup by Kevin Yeager, the guy basically responsible for probably some of the best Freddy Krueger makeup and special effects, you know, in movies and horror movies in general. And this is by far my favorite iteration of Freddy Krueger when it comes to the makeup and the presentation. The scariest. And you can say what you want about Freddy's Revenge. You know, some people are like, "Oh my God, it's what the hell were people saying initially? It's homoerotic. Why you can't like that movie? It's a homoerotic movie." You know, was there definitely gay undertones to it? Absolutely. You know, but when we were kids, dude, none of us picked up on that. You know what I mean? And even now, you know, it's funny, I guess, in hindsight, but you know, it's not a big deal, man. You know, it doesn't take away the love that I have from the movie at all. And if anything, it makes it a little bit more campy, you know, to some extent. It adds a few other elements of silliness to it, and I don't know, it's cool, man. It's a great movie. And again, I think it's one of the scariest iterations of Freddy Krueger, the best makeup. You know, it's just I don't know, man, it holds a special place for me, dude. Just a great movie. And this bust is by none other than Paul Austin Bailey, and a few of us that were kind of bugging this guy to do a run of these, and you know, he's a busy dude, so you know, eventually I also got, you know, some of us were like, no, I'm gonna wait, you know, just private commission, you know, just ask him to do one, and he's like, you know, I'll absolutely do it. And very fast too as well, man. I mean, only took a few weeks to get this bad boy, and obviously he has the cast. He just got to paint it up, put the eyes in, position them, and man, this is the amazing product that you get afterwards. And man, it's just fucking looking at it, it's absolutely incredible, man. Just absolutely incredible. I've had this thing for at least like 7 or 8 months now, and have yet to do a review. So I don't know what the hell I've been waiting for, man. But I was messing around looking at it last week, and I'm like, God damn, dude. You know, I'm like, this thing is fantastic. I'm like, what? Why? I'm like, why have I not done a review yet of this? But damn, dude, he captures Robert Englund's likeness so incredibly well. You know, in this, it's just, man, it's just jaw-dropping. And you know, I have Beto Metalli. If those of you who follow, you know, the Custom 1/6, Beto Metalli probably has the best, you know, Part 2 Freddy Krueger that exists on the planet. And to have the bust, that's the last thing that I was kind of looking for, is, you know, some kind of bust, you know, that also fills that love, you know, for me. And this thing, man, it's resin. You know, you would look at this and some people would be like, wow, man, is that made out of silicone? And the answer to that would be no, it is not made out of silicone. This is resin and just fully painted by Paul. And just, whew, man, it's out of this world, man, if you're a Freddy Krueger fan. And those who are on the list, you know, and also looking to get one, you are in good hands. Trust me, you are not going to be disappointed with this guy. And I think if I remember correctly, Kevin Yeager did the makeup for Part 2, Part 3, and I want to say Part 4. I can't remember if he did the makeup for Part 5, but arguably Part 2, 3, and 4 are the best Freddy makeups in the entire series. At least for me anyway. Part one makeup is always going to hold a special place for everyone as well, but you know, they were kind of just feeling out, you know, Freddy Krueger in that initial film. And you know, I think the idea was to have, you know, burnt, obviously, you know, wanted him badly burnt, and they came across that. And I remember the guy who did the makeup was mentioning something about, you know, kind of looking at a pizza, and I don't know if it was necessarily like an inspiration for how he wanted to do the makeup. I forget how he had kind of worded it, but that was mentioned in the documentary a while back. You know, kind of how that was a comparison to some extent. I don't know how much that played into, you know, the makeup itself, but I feel like he was talking about how it kind of inspired him, you know, to an extent on how to do the makeup. And don't get me wrong, like I said, part 1 is a good makeup. It's not something to be ashamed of. You know, it's a classic Freddy Krueger, and I have a Beto Metalli 1/6 custom Freddy Krueger as well. You know, the part 1 is still an excellent movie, but it is not my favorite. You know, part 2, man, is just, I'm telling you, because of how scary Freddy Krueger was in that movie, and again, because of the makeup, just absolutely incredible, man. This is just a fun movie overall. And I'm going to show you this guy with his hat off as well, and give you some looks there too. And get a little closer here just to kind of show you more of the details. The eyes he uses are freaking spot on, man. They're great. They pop. And again, the paint on this is just fantastic, man. You know, again, it's like you would look at that and think it's silicone. You know, people are like, oh man, you got to go silicone to get the most realistic look. Hell no, you don't. Hell no, you don't. All you need is a person with a good cast and who knows how to paint, and you can recreate a silicone look that is just as good as you can see from this. You know, and all it needs is to be well lit so the details come out. And you guys know I'm a firm believer that people open products or review figures, or even just in their own home, open up stuff, you know, and don't display it right. And they think whatever they have, you know, whether it's a custom piece or a mass-produced product of whatever kind, you know, pop memorabilia, and they're like, oh, this looks like crap, man. The paint's terrible, or, you know, and or it doesn't have a good likeness, or you can't see details. And some of that is valid criticism on certain things, but other times it's because they're opening it in an environment that is making it look like shit. Like, and that is definitely a factor with certain collectibles for sure, and then customs as well. Because I'm sure you can find a shitty picture of this, you know, somewhere on the internet, and it's absolutely not. You know, as you can see, I mean, I'm shooting this in 4K, 60 frames per second, so there's no masking or hiding, you know, any imperfections at all. So let me get this guy's hat off and show you what he looks like all bald. So there he is in all his badassery without the hat on. Man, and Paul, if you're watching this, dude, amazing work, man. Just absolutely amazing work. When I tell you, perfection, brother. And Odell, my man Odell Young, he had one of these and he sold it. And I think there was a complaint by, you know, some people, and I don't know if this was Odell's complaint, you know, that the bust is a little undersized. It's not true one-to-one scale. And I would agree with that. It is a tad undersized, but man, does it take away from the presence of this or the badassery of it? Hell no. Hell no, it does not. So Odell, after this video, you're probably going to want to commission another one. But Odell has a badass part 2 bust already, so, you know, I don't know how this stacked up against his, but I think Odell's is silicone. But as I said, man, you know, this proves that you don't really need silicone for realism, just a good paint and a good cast. And just, man, it's just fantastic, man. It's so fucking mean and evil. And like when I show you like some looks like this, like remember when he comes out of Jesse, you know, when he's sleeping over his Grady's house, you know, and he stands up just coming out of his body, and he smiles and he's looking at Grady. You know, this is what this angle and that look kind of reminds me of. And if you have this bust, depending on the angle and the lighting you choose, or the, you know, angle of the shot, you can pull so many different scenes. Oh, sorry about the shake a little bit there. You can pull so many different scenes. It's just a badass piece, man. It's so dynamic. You know, and again, just looking at it, it's incredible. You know, we're getting a Friday the 13th, you know, TV series at some point, which is going to be great. You know, A24 is behind that. You know, so that's going to be, you know it's going to be a meaningful production or show. You know, it's going to be good. It's not going to be, you know, something just to try to get some ratings and, you know, throw the franchise out into the mainstream again. It's going to be really, really good. And then there's a movie potentially in the works as well. So it's nice to see some of this coming back, man. But we're not getting any love for Freddy, man. And, you know, Robert Englund has said that, you know, he's fluctuated back and forth with coming back and saying that, you know, I think I'm done. It's time to pass it on. And then, you know, saying maybe he's got one more potentially in him. And I think there's the guy at Blumhouse, I think, was saying something about, you know, he wants to redo Freddy Krueger, and he said that he would get Robert Englund back. He said he would, I think he, if I remember correctly, it was him. He was saying that he would bring him back. He's like, trust me, I'll be able to convince Robert Englund to come back for another movie. But this is the thing though, man. Robert Englund is getting older, and it's not even that he's getting older. I mean, the guy's gonna, he's gonna put makeup on. It's not really gonna make a difference. But the guy has also gained some weight though, man, from what I understand. And no one wants to see a overweight Freddy Krueger, right? So he would have to potentially lose some weight and to redo this role. And it's not like he's got to do, his own stunts and all kinds of shit. Somebody else can do that, but it would be fantastic to really give Freddy Krueger another proper send-off, or at least continue it somehow, you know what I mean? And if Robert Englund does come back, who knows what capacity it would be in, you know what I mean? But the guy's getting older, man. He's in his 70s. And at some point, he is going to pass away. And that's going to suck, man. And to not have him in at least one more film in some capacity, I don't know. It would just be, I feel like it deserves, or he deserves, some kind of recognition to some extent to kind of come back again, because there's just, man, it's just Robert Englund, man. When you think of Freddy Krueger, you think of this guy. You don't think of anybody else. So I want to get in just a little bit closer so I can show you guys the eyes a little bit closer. And man, they pop, dude, I'm telling you. Just terrific makeup, terrific details all around. The silence is deafening. God damn though, man. So that's about all I wanted to show you guys. And let's give you a nice look at this bust. It's definitely long overdue and deserved. 100%. All right, my dudes. See you at the next video, whatever that may be. And stay scary, my peeps.